So the disc brakes are from a company called The Right Stuff. I got it actually on Facebook Marketplace, but it was a complete kit. The calipers came loaded, but I'm not sure what they were loaded with. So I took those brake pads out and I bought my own brake pads. Got some ceramic pads. These actually were pretty easy to install. So if you look right here, this bracket here, there's a couple of washers in there. Now what they did, they sent shims, but they're too big, quite a bit too big. They're I don't know how long they are, probably close to a half an inch long. And all I needed was just two little flat washers in there, and it made it perfect. It centered my caliper on my rotor real nice. Now these bolts here that hold this bracket on, there's three of them. One down there, you can see it down there, one there, and one there. The instructions that come with this kit said to torque those bolts there to like 50 or 55 foot-pounds. They're 3/8. They are grade 8, but you will strip them. Because I followed the instructions and I stripped one. And I wasn't going to follow the instructions anymore. So I torqued them to what this says. I got this handy dandy little chart here that tells you all the bolts, metric, standard, grade 5, grade 8, grade 1, 2, whatever you got. And you go by the size and whether or not it's lubed. It's a pretty good little chart. So I followed that chart when I torqued them, and they worked great. It does come with two different parts here. They use OE parts on a lot of this. Like this caliper is off of a 79 Cadillac Eldorado, I think. And the rotor's off of a 79 Firebird. I have no idea what this brake cable's off of, but it fits pretty good. Everybody online was saying that theirs was way too short. Not sure how they routed theirs, but just routed mine straight over and it's fine. I did zip tie some excess up out of the way along the frame there. And the instructions don't tell you what these parts come out of, so when you need a replacement, you'll have to find out from the manufacturer. And that's exactly what I did. I contacted The Right Stuff and asked them what the caliper and rotor came off of so that I can get replacements if and when the time comes. Now the other thing you got to watch out for, this emergency brake. If you look here, this part of the spring has to be towards the outside of the vehicle. If it's not, what happens, it pops out this way, and then this unseats. And then when you release the brake, it won't seat back. So, and I painted these calipers too, because they come with no paint, so I painted them with some caliper paint. It does come with short hoses. They're actually a little bit longer than they really need to be. But that's not touching anything. It just kind of looks like it from this angle. And the instructions don't tell you what to torque your caliper bolts to. They don't tell you what to torque your this bolt here to, the one that holds your hose. Excuse me. So what I did was I just torqued this one because it's the same size as what the front is. Torqued it to the same the same torque setting as the front caliper, and I got that out of my manual, out of my C10 manual. And I torqued these bolts, the caliper bolts up to the exact same as the front as well, and I got that torque out of the factory manual. And it does come with these little brackets here that you can just weld onto your axle wherever you like, wherever you think is best. So it's a complete kit, It comes with everything. And it fits nice, it fits good. These axles are actually Moser axles. And by the way, let me just throw in a plug for Moser. I contacted Strange Engineering because I wanted to get a set of 30 spline axles. This axle came with 28 spline, but my carrier is a 30 spline. So I contacted Strange Engineering. They said they wouldn't make them, and they didn't have any that would fit this truck. I was like, okay. So I contacted Moser, and this was on a Wednesday afternoon. I contacted Moser. Told them what I had. They said, yeah, sure, we can make some, and we'll ship them out probably by Friday afternoon. I was like, you're going to make them and then ship them out to me in 2 days? I said, yeah, you should have them by Monday or Tuesday. And they were exactly right. I had them by Tuesday afternoon in my hand, less than a week, and they had to make them. So, yeah, good going, Moser. So these disc brakes are pretty easy to install. Nothing hard to do. Pretty easy. And they seem to fit good, and I think they'll work good. Now, you will have to change your proportioning valve, because the stock proportioning valve using drum brakes will hold about 10 psi or so of pressure on your drum brakes to keep the shoes from pushing back in to the, collapsing your anyways. So you're going to have to get a proportioning valve. That one there I got from LMC Truck. It's supposed to be for a 4-wheel disc brake truck. So we'll see if it is, but I'm not sure. Got my preliminary alignment done, got my brake lines run, got my axle rebuilt. And there was some things I didn't show when I was rebuilding the axle, like I had to buy the tool to set the pinion depth. I didn't ever show that tool being used, but I'll do a review on it. And I didn't talk about this cover. This cover is a Moser Engineering cover. I'm hoping that it adds a little bit of oil capacity to it. I think the book calls for 4.4 pints. I'm hoping to get close to 3 quarts in there. But I'm not sure if it will or not. The thing I like about it has a little drain plug at the bottom and a fill plug on the back of it, which means that fill plug there, this one here, you can put some sealant, some thread sealant on that, put it in there, tighten it up, and you never have to touch it again. I do need to run a vent line for that axle. The only other thing I don't like about this Moser diff, though, is where your brake hose bolts on, that bracket. You're going to have to come up with something creative. So what I did, because it comes with a bolt like this, well, that leaves you nowhere to put this bracket. So what I did, I got some all thread, and I put it in, like I used it like a stud. I just put it in there, screwed it down tight with some blue Loctite. Then I put a nut on it, and then I didn't put a nut, I put the flat washer that came with the cover, I put that in there. And then I got a coupling, an all-thread coupling, and it's a 5/16 18, but I got an all-thread coupling, and I just used that as the nut. That gave me a standoff, and then I used a 5/16 18 nut on the outside of the bracket. So that is how it looks. And then I took the bolt that came out of that hole, and I used it to bolt the hose down onto the bracket with. But I had to cut it shorter because it was way too long, and it would have never cleared under there. It never would have cleared underneath there. That's it. I do have this yoke from Strange Engineering. Yeah, I would have bought one from Moser but I bought this before I found out Strange Engineering wouldn't make any axles for me. But anyways, I bought this from Strange Engineering, and it's supposed to be a 1350 U-joint as opposed to the 1310 that came stock. So it should be stronger, better. And the yoke, I don't know if you can see it. Focus. Right there, it says USA. It's USA made, as is. The cover. So, we should be good to go there. That axle should last. It should definitely work for the street. If I was going to take this to the track and drag racing, no, I wouldn't. Now the next thing is the brake lines. If you look at this, I made this emergency brake cable. Because I ordered an emergency brake cable and it was about 6 inches too short. So I started doing some research on the internet and I found out that no matter what cable you buy, it's going to be about 6 inches too short. And most people were calling like, I can't remember the name of the company, Inline or something like that. And having custom brake line or emergency brake cables made. I didn't want to do that. So I went to the Home Depot and I bought some 1/8 wire rope. And it comes in a nice rubber shield around it, so that should help with corrosion. It is galvanized, so it shouldn't corrode any faster than any other brake cable. But I just made one, and that's probably what you're going to have to do as well. I bought this cable here that goes up to your pedal, your brake pedal. I ordered that from Rock Auto. I ordered the AC Delco, and they sent me the exact same cable in that box with the right part number for this cable. In that box was another intermediate cable, and it's also 6 inches too short to work for the intermediate cable. So I have both of those cables rolled up and put away because I didn't realize it until it was way past time I could return it. So I ordered this cable from LMC Truck. It took a minute to get it, but it's correct. And it will have to be adjusted. That's a preliminary adjustment, and it's, yeah. So, this is where we're at with the 82 C10 Squarebody. Got a long ways to go. So thanks for watching. If you got anything out of that at all, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.